Hail and well met, travelers! On today's episode of LARP-shire, we will be delving into the mystic arts of illumination. I'll be teaching you how to make this torch for LARP, so stick around. Alright guys, so if you've LARPed for any period of time, you've probably realized that the lighting options for LARPing in the dark is pretty limited. So you have things like little battery-powered lanterns or candles that don't really give off much light. It's nice that, you know, they are fake, so they're not going to catch anything on fire, but they're just not very bright. Then you have real lanterns. Some of the downsides to those are, one, a lot of times they can get really hot, especially depending on how they're made. If they have like metal on the outside of the lantern, that can get really hot. It's also something you obviously don't want to drop on the ground, so you can't really be running around with it. You definitely can't do combat with real flames, so there is a disadvantage of that. And some places you're LARPing may not even allow real flames outdoors, just for that fire hazard. And there's also regular flashlights, but obviously that doesn't really fit the theme in most cases. So I set out to create some type of light source that I could use at LARP that would be safe, that would be actually bright enough to see your surroundings and move around safely, and that also was sturdy enough that I wasn't worried about breaking it if, say, I were holding it in one hand and fighting with the other hand. So this is what I ended up coming up with. This is at least what houses the light source, but let's go ahead and go over the materials needed for this project, and then we'll get into how to make it. Alright, so let's go over the materials that we're going to need for the PVC part of this build. So first off, you're going to need some 1-inch pipe and some 2-inch pipe. They sell these smaller lengths in 2 feet a lot of times, as opposed to getting the big 10-foot long pole, which you don't need. So for the 1-inch, this is going to be our handle of our torch, and this is 2 feet long. We're going to cut this in half, so we're only going to need 1 foot of it. So if you have some laying around, you just need the 1 foot. And then for the 2-inch pipe, this is also the smallest size it came in, was the 2 feet long. You're going to only need 2 inches of this, so you could make a bunch of these torches with just one section of 2 feet. So moving on to the other pieces, this is going to be the top of the torch. This is a 1 1/4 inch male adapter. Then we move on to a 1 1/4 inch female adapter. So those are going to go together, screw together like this. Then we have a 1 1/4 inch to 1 inch male reducer. So you notice that these don't go together. That's why we need the 2 inches of the 2-inch pipe to connect these two pieces here. So then we have our 1-inch female adapter that will connect just like this. And then we will use our 1-inch, 1 foot of pipe that will become the handle, and then to cap it off on the end is this 1-inch cap. So all of these pieces will be in the description below. This is a light bulb cage that I got off of Amazon. I got a 4-pack for about $15, so a little under $4 a piece, and this will go at the top of our torch, and I'll surround our light source. Alright, so now for the light source for this project. So this is an Ultrafire brand traffic wand from Amazon. You can get a 2-pack for about $15, so it's relatively inexpensive. So it's a basic flashlight, but then it comes with this orange plastic wand that screws into the top of the flashlight. Once you get that screwed in and turned on, then it creates this bright orange light that's diffused and omnidirectional. While it's bright enough to actually be practical and to use at an event and find your way in the dark, it's also nice and orange and gives off this firelight look, so it doesn't throw you out of character. So let's jump into the build. We're going to start off by screwing together the 1 1/4 inch male adapter and the 1 1/4 inch female adapter. And then you're going to grab the 1 1/4 inch to 1 inch male reducer and screw in the 1 inch female adapter. And you'll notice that these two don't go together, so that's where we need that 2 inches of the 2-inch PVC pipe. So I just mark off 2 inches here, and then I use this PVC pipe cutter. You can use a handsaw or grab one of these for $15-ish at your local hardware store. I like these because they're pretty easy to use and they leave a nice clean cut. So once you have that 2 inches, then you're going to pop that in there. And you'll probably need a hammer to tap that down so those 2 pieces come together all the way. Next, you're going to take your 1-inch pipe and measure out 1 foot. And I use the same PVC pipe cutter to cut that off. Then you're going to grab your 1-inch cap and pop that on there. And then you're going to place it into the other piece, and you'll probably need to tap that down a few times to get the pipe to slide all the way in. You'll notice that there are some raised markings and words on the cap, as well as a couple other places. If that's something that bothers you, you can use a file and file those down to where it's smooth. Next, we're going to use some painter's tape to tape off the handle and spray paint the other pieces of the torch. To add the light bulb cage, you're going to start off by unscrewing those screws. And then you're going to pull it apart enough to slide it onto the torch. I've found that there's enough tension as is to keep it on the torch without the need for the screws, but you could also add the screws to keep it even more secure. Now we're ready to spray paint everything but the handle, and for this I used a hammered metal color, which I think gives it a really cool look. If you're wondering what I'm hanging the torch on right now as I paint it, it's a cheap metal shepherd's hook that's for your garden to hang flower pots or birdhouses or things like that. I just happened to have it and it happened to work for this. The next step is to spray paint the handle, so I'm just going to take off the tape and then add more tape to the areas that we've already painted. For the handle, I start off with a dark brown base coat, and then I add a brown textured spray paint that I think gives it some cool dimension and a cool feel in your hand. And here we have the final product. So moving on to the flashlight, you're going to need to take off a few of the pieces in order to be able to slide it down into the torch, starting with the strap at the bottom. Then you're going to take off the metal clip on the side. And lastly, this rubber piece. Then screw everything back together, and you should be good to go. You'll also notice that there's a logo on the side of the cone, but you can use a piece of fine grit sandpaper to take that off. At this point, if you want to just leave it as is, that's totally fine. If you want to take it another step up and give it more of a realistic flame look, you can add some plastic wrap. You're basically just going to wrap around the first layer and then add some tape. And then add various layers at different lengths. This just gives it a bit more dimension and makes it look a little bit more like a realistic flame. And there you have it. Let's see it in action. Alright guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I certainly enjoyed making it. If you guys do give this project a try, comment below and let us know how it turns out. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Adventure awaits.